2008 was a hell of a year to be 7. The best MCU movie of all time, The Incredible Hulk starring Edward Norton, released in the summer, followed by the best Star Wars movie of all time, Star Wars The Clone Wars. No, not the show, no, not the other show. Yes, the hit animated movie featuring Stinky the Hut. It felt like nothing could top these huge releases, but then my father sat me down in front of our premium 2008 computer monitor and he pressed play on the application Spore. What is Spore? Spore is an evolution sim full of charm. In Spore, you start out as a multicellular creature. Eat enough food and your critters will evolve to live on land. After either befriending or killing enough creatures, your species will become smart enough to form a tribe. After either massacring or befriending all the other tribes, you can evolve to an intelligence beyond current humans and have your species live in futuristic cities. After you conquer the world, your people will go out to conquer space as well. It's pretty rad. Spore is pretty old, but the community has never died down. There's this really neat website called Spore.com. It's definitely an old website, but it's still fully functional for the most part. Here you can check out the different DLC for Spore. But what's crazy is when you click on this tab, look at the dates for the last 3 posts. Yeah, you are insane. That says 2024. Recently, EA, the wonderful publisher of Spore, decided to allow some staff to work on the game. It's been mostly community efforts, but still pretty awesome. There's a new official Spore Discord server where they are holding contests, plus they're doing some behind the scene works to maintain the game. So the point of this video is to try to convince you that now is the time to check out Spore. If at any point while watching this video you think to yourself, wow, this game seems neat, I really should check it out, then I've accomplished my objective. Turn off this video and go play Spore. Also, don't feel the need to buy either of the DLCs. They are both great additions to the game, but are absolutely not needed to enjoy it. Spore costs about $20 usually, but it goes on super sale fairly frequently if you want to save some money. The start menu for Spore is a galaxy of a bunch of procedurally generated planets. Here you can pick a planet that looks cool and start a save there. What's really neat about this is it actually isn't just for effect. This is your personal galaxy. Later on, you'll be able to actually fly your spaceship to and from each of your save planets if you'd like. Another really neat detail is that if you want to delete a world, the planet will straight up explode, killing off every living thing inhabiting it, and will be replaced with another planet later on. I hope it was worth it. The planet generation is super neat as well. Basically, there are 14 different planet types for your homeworld. This is the blueprint for how the biomes will generate. The color of the grass, the sky, and the oceans are also randomized to keep the game feeling fresh with each playthrough. The main composer of Spore soundtrack is Brian Eno. For those who don't know, this guy is a legend. For those old enough to remember, he's the guy that made this soundbite. That's right, he composed the famous Windows 95 startup sound. They also use procedural generation to make the music randomly vary. The soundtrack is basically randomized from a bunch of pre-recorded segments. The biggest reason Spore is so fantastic is as you play through the game you design your own creature, and the game gives you absolute control. The only limitation is your creature must have a mouth in order to eat. Want to play with no eyes? If you're up for the challenge. Want to play with no legs? Who needs them anyway? Want 2 heads? That sounds awesome. For the most part, you can create anything your brain can think of, within the confines of the part the game offers. What's also really neat is no matter what you make, the game will figure out a way to animate it. For instance, I made this cute spider dude with 8 legs positioned in all custom locations, and the game figured out on its own how to animate its legs as it walked. It also just knew that this segment was its head, whereas this segment was its butt, without me having to tell the game explicitly which was which. For the most part, it doesn't matter how jank of a creation you make, the game will do a good job figuring out what's going on. And although the game has its limitations, if you are skilled enough, you can make anything you would like. For instance, a user named Odonost made the spectacular horror recently. Just look at how cool this guy is. Am I skilled enough to make something like this? No. But it shows that if you put enough time and effort, anything is possible to create in Spore. Plus, you make far more than just creatures. As the game progresses, you'll make a lot of different things, including buildings and vehicles. However, what's really neat is all of this is linked to your game's files. So if you make a really cool critter, the game will add it to your personal database of creatures that will appear in your galaxy. so you'll probably see it roaming the next planet you start a run on. If you make a Spore account, you can share your creations online on something called Sporepedia. This is kind of like a social media for Spore. Sporepedia is a catalog of every Spore creation shared by the player base. You can access this catalog in-game or on Spore.com by signing into your Spore account. They give sorting options and a search bar to make it very easy to find what you're looking for as well, which is really nice for a weird website for an obscure 2008 game. When you find a cool creation, you can download it and add it to your Galaxy's in-game database. While here, you can give the creation a thumbs up or down, or even comment if you like to. You may also add your friends on Spore, and keep up with their creations as well. This is my friend Lay Stinkster. He got some cool dudes, a bunch of Kirby's. Crazy Frog goes hard. Dude, is that Croc from Croc? From here, I can download his dudes to my game and see his creations when I play in my Galaxy. Another cool feature is Sporecasts. Sporecasts are kind of like playlists but for Spore. You can make a Sporecast and include any number of your creations alongside any number of other people's creations you find on Sporepedia. From here, other people can subscribe to your Sporecast, or you can subscribe to someone else's Sporecast. When starting a new run on a new planet, you have an option of choosing a theme. This is where you pick a Sporecast as your theme. Picking a theme influences this planet to generate the creations within the Sporecast more than it typically would. It also makes it so other user-made content you have downloaded or created that isn't in the chosen Sporecast will not generate. It's super neat. And there are a ton of cool ones online, such as Skin Z's Pokemon Sporecast last updated in 2008. Or maybe this one by Alessandria called The Real World, that features a bunch of regular animals from real life, and then randomly a head crab from Half-Life, for whatever reason. The online aspect of Spore really makes this game feel special. Sure, it's awesome to make your own dudes, but to be able to share your dudes with the rest of the community at a push of a button is really something special. Knowing that other users could be using my creations in their Galaxy is just so cool. Plus, it's really cool running into other people's creations as you play. It really makes you feel like your Galaxy is just a part of the larger Spore universe. Plus, it's fun seeing people leave comments on your creations on Sporepedia, like my new buddy Cowgirl. If you already have Spore and you're watching this video, please add me on Sporepedia. My account is linked below. Earlier, I mentioned that your creations start off as simple multicellular beings and progress all the way to being a spacefaring empire. These are split up into 5 stages. What's really interesting is each stage in Spore has vastly different gameplay to the point where it kind of feels like you're playing 5 different video games as you progress. The first stage is the cell stage. In this stage, you develop your cell by gaining DNA points from eating seaweed, eggs, or other cells. The gameplay is simply boiled down to eat and don't get eaten. After you gain enough DNA points, you move on to the creature stage. In this stage, your creatures evolve to live on land. This is where you will use the most popular creator, the creature creator. Using this, you will create whatever critter your heart desires and evolve it as you progress. Here the game also becomes more complex. There is now a camera you have to control alongside abilities with cooldowns you get to use. Instead of eating to progress, you must now explore the planet while either befriending or killing other creatures in order to gain more DNA points. Once you have enough DNA points, you move on to the third stage, the tribal stage. In this stage, you now manage your whole tribe rather than just one creature in an RTS style of gameplay. You get to design your tribe's outfits as well in the tribal outfitter. From here, your tribe must either defeat or befriend all the other tribes on the planet. Once you have done this, your tribe will advance into a civilization. In this stage, you create a lot of different things. You get to design your city's homes, entertainment buildings, factories, and their own town hall in the building creator. You will also create land, water, and air vehicles as well. You also get a randomly generated anthem for your civilization. However, if you'd like to, you can create your own anthem for your city instead, and you may do so in-game. In the stage, you must take over every other civilization by military, religious, or economic means. Once you have done so, your civilization will unify to create a spaceship to explore the galaxy in the space stage. This is the final stage. In the stage, you have several optional goals. Want to take over the galaxy? Go for it. Want to rid the galaxy of the evil Grox? How noble. Want to journey to the center of the galaxy? Very cool. What kind of space empire will you create? One of my favorite aspects of Spore is how each stage is integrated into the next stage. When you are in the creature stage, you encounter simple creatures that recently evolved past the cell stage. When you are in the tribal stage, you will still encounter creatures. When you're in the civilization stage, you will still encounter tribes. Before the space stage, you can see UFOs. During the space stage, you can interact with all the previous stages. Even to the point of seeing comets that could start life on lifeless planets, just as one did for your homeworld. In the space stage, you are encouraged to move creatures from one planet to another, which provides a canon explanation as to why you encounter the same species on separate planets. Now that I've totally convinced you to go check out Spore, I want to cover the DLC I mentioned earlier if you are considering either of them. First, we have the Creepy and Cute Parts Pack. It basically adds 60 new creature parts, a bunch of new color options, and a large amount of new base game creatures. You will need this pack to have compatibility with a lot of the creatures on Sporepedia. The other DLC is the Galactic Adventures DLC. This DLC is as goofy as it is interesting. It allows you to land on different planets during the space stage to participate in missions. You can also customize your captain with new accessories that do cool new things. These missions control like the creature stage, but are scripted levels made by Maxis and the community. What is very cool about these levels is that the players can make their own and share them on Sporepedia. I think this DLC is a really cool concept, but personally I think the missions feel a little out of place. It just doesn't fit the vibe of the game in my opinion. However, it does have its own goofy charm to it that is hard not to love. Even though I own and use this DLC, I personally would recommend the Creepy and Cute DLC over this one. Finally, we have the Obscure Bot Parts DLC. This DLC was created as a collaboration with Dr. Pepper. Yes, you heard me right. You could get a few robotic creature parts if you participated in a promotion for Dr. Pepper back in 2010. This is also the last content ever added to Spore. Many people missed out on these bot parts for years, as the contest only ran for a short while. What's actually really cool is EA support will give some people that ask nicely the code to use the DLC. Or if you want to get them without all the hassle, the files are definitely online, and I doubt EA cares if you download them. If you do use the bot parts, do note that they have a very unique issue. The mouth parts provided in this DLC do not have the sing ability, and as stated before, the only limitation for a creature is it must have a mouth. So if you use a robot mouth, and only a robot mouth, you cannot socialize, which would be fine, but if you try to socialize with a creature with no social attributes, the game will not know what to do and your game will crash. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you had a great time watching. I had a great time making it. If you want to watch more Spore content, I'm going to be streaming Spore tonight at 7 PM Central Standard Time. You should come and join in. We'll talk about life, Spore, and much more. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.